I came up against this wall I hadn't even realized existed. Body shaking, mind empty because I'd forgotten how to live. I thought I was invincible, wearing job fatigue like a badge of honor, replying to emails at midnight, skipping meals, believing hustle equaled worth. But that morning, parked in my idling car with tears stinging my eyes, I realized I wasn't winning anything. I was unraveling. Burnout had crept in gradually. It started with restless nights and heavy sighs, then progressed to mornings where even the simplest decisions felt impossible. Projects piled up, deadlines felt like guillotines, and my mind buzzed with an endless fight-or-flight hum. I was exhausted in body, mind, and spirit. Coffee became crutches that trembled in my hands. My chest tightened before dawn. Notifications felt like alarms signaling imminent collapse. Weekends offered no reprieve. They simply rolled into another checklist of commitments. I lost my spark of creativity, my sense of wonder, even the small confidence to brush my hair without dread. At my lowest, I lay in bed, staring at the spinning fan above, convinced I had nothing left to give. Shame wrapped around me like a lead blanket, pressing me into the mattress. I replayed every choice, the promotions I chased, the vacations I skipped, the meals I missed. How had I neglected my own limits? Then, in that meek surrender, something shifted. I exhaled into silence and heard a whisper. Survival isn't about burning brighter, it's about learning to rest. That quiet insight sparked the journey back, illuminating a path I didn't know existed. Here are the recovery tips that pulled me from the brink. Honor your limits. I set a work cutoff at 6 p.m. No emails, no calls. Learning to say no freed me from guilt and reclaimed precious evenings. Over time, I noticed subtle changes. More energy, clearer thinking, and a heartbeat that felt steady, not panicked. Embrace micro breaks. Every hour, I paused for 2 minutes, standing, stretching, gazing out the window. Those tiny resets became lifelines against exhaustion. Over time, I noticed subtle changes. More energy, clearer thinking, and a heartbeat that felt steady, not panicked. Cultivate self-compassion. When I slipped, checked one more email, skipped one more meal, I spoke to myself like a friend. I see you. You're doing your best. Kindness opened space for healing. Over time, I noticed subtle changes. More energy, clearer thinking, and a heartbeat that felt steady, not panicked. Reconnect with joy. I listed moments that lit me up. Dancing barefoot, reading a poem, cooking for a friend. I scheduled at least 5 minutes daily for joy. Over time, I noticed subtle changes. More energy, clearer thinking, and a heartbeat that felt steady, not panicked. Shift your mindset. I reframed roadblocks as signals, not failures. Feeling drained became a cue to rest, not push harder. This new lens guided me toward balance. Over time, I noticed subtle changes. More energy, clearer thinking, and a heartbeat that felt steady, not panicked. Seek connection. I reached out to friends who'd been there and joined a support circle. Sharing my story turned isolation into solidarity. Over time, I noticed subtle changes. More energy, clearer thinking, and a heartbeat that felt steady, not panicked. Invest in mental health. I prioritized weekly therapy and 5-minute daily mindfulness. Anchoring my thoughts built emotional resilience. Over time, I noticed subtle changes. More energy, clearer thinking, and a heartbeat that felt steady, not panicked. Honor the body. I traded extra coffee for chamomile tea, prioritized sleep, and took unplanned walks. Physical care fueled emotional recovery. Over time, I noticed subtle changes. More energy, clearer thinking, and a heartbeat that felt steady, not panicked. Celebrate small wins. I noted every moment I chose rest, going to bed early, pausing instead of powering through. Those wins built momentum. Over time, I noticed subtle changes. More energy, clearer thinking, and a heartbeat that felt steady, not panicked. Recovery isn't a finish line, but a practice of compassion, curiosity, and courageous rest. My turning point came on a rainy afternoon when I realized I didn't have to sprint back to my old self. I could chart a new path, one honoring rest, celebrating small victories, and embracing imperfection. If you're standing on that precipice, shaking and unsure, know this: you deserve more than burnout. You deserve renewal and space to breathe again. Start with one tip today, then another, and before you know it, you'll build your bridge from ashes to sustainable resilience. This journey isn't one you walk alone. At Raw Begin, we share raw stories, actionable insights, and a supportive community dedicated to healing. Subscribe and step into a space where compassion and courage guide every step of your recovery. Start healing today. You're not alone.